Hey, GrowthPoint Global family, I cannot believe that we are nearing the ending of 2025. Can you believe it? I can't. It seems like January just started yesterday. But before we go into today's message, I want to take this opportunity to thank you. Thank you for helping us reach over 1,000 subscribers. Those numbers might not mean anything to you as it relates to algorithms, but every number is a name. We just don't look at numbers just to be like over 1,000. We look at them as those are the people that we are impacting because of you, because of your share, because of your friends, your family, all of that. It matters because that's ministry. And I want to thank you for helping us to reach people beyond our walls and beyond our state, beyond our city. You're helping us do that. And I thank you so much for your support, not just in that, but even financially. It's able to help us to reach people that you might not ever get an opportunity to meet, to clothe people, to be able to feed others. Locally, globally, regionally, all of that. You have helped natural disasters that have happened in our state. Your donations have helped us to be able to provide and to service those areas. So I want to take this opportunity not just to thank you for the subscriptions for our channel. Thank you for your support. You support this vision, and I and we as a church family do not take it for granted. So let's go into today's message. Be encouraged. Be encouraged. Know that we are praying for you. And as always, whatever you do, keep growing.
12:12 English Standard Version says this: Rejoice in hope. Be patient in tribulation. Be constant in prayer. Rejoice in hope. Be patient in tribulation. Be constant in prayer.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
This is only a test.
Tell your neighbor this is only a test. You may be seated. Y'all weren't ready, were you? Tell somebody again, it's only a test. It's only a test. Y'all ready? Thank you for the honesty. Someone said no. James Gunn's new adaptation of Superman places a spin on a hero that is known to all of us, mostly. Some of us remember, Mr. Fred, and probably just him and I are the only ones who probably remember this, when the introductory phrase was, "Look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound." Oh, a few of y'all are aged. For generations, we've known him as an indestructible champion. Faster than a bullet, leaping tall buildings with only one weakness: kryptonite. While we knew that he was Clark Kent by day, working at the Daily Planet as a reporter, dating Lois Lane, we mostly have only seen him win. Yet in this adaptation by James Gunn, we find that he struggles with one particular opponent, not because he's bigger than him, not because he's from another planet with superhero powers than he, more superhero powers than him, not because he has a special weapon of choice like Thor or the Guardians of the Galaxy. Nope. This story reveals a deeper vulnerability. His greatest threat isn't brute strength or alien weaponry. It's an enemy who has studied him. This opponent trained for years to anticipate Superman's every move. With code commands like F-19 or Y-17, they exploit his predictability. The lesson that I got while I was watching this is that even the strongest can fall when their patterns become someone else's playbook. He's become so predictable that he didn't realize that while he was resting, someone was watching. While he was recharging, someone was studying him. And while he was stepping back, someone was preparing for his return. I'm not going to spoil how the movie ends, as I tend to do at times. But I do want to share that you can be gifted, called, anointed, set aside, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost with a mighty burning fire, do speak in tongues as the Spirit of God gives utterance. You may be operating at maximum supernatural capacity. And for many of you, like myself included, even right now, you're operating in your supernatural ability. Yet two things can be true at the same time. You can be gifted and called while at the same time dealing with an attack that you're not always able to understand or explain. And the test for us is that our greatest battles aren't always obvious foes. Sometimes the threat comes from those who have studied you in your moments of rest, recharge, and retreat. Is this helping anybody already? So I want to go further and let you know that there are more, but there are three that I want to talk about right now. Three different types of spiritual attacks. Number one are those that are personally induced. They are the attacks that I brought on myself. Am I too loud? I just got back. They are the attacks I brought on myself. It's almost like Urkel. Did I do that? It's the type of thing that you brought the attack on yourself. It is not anybody else who did it. It is your attack, and it's important that you recognize that, because sometimes the person you need to rebuke is you. You can't rebuke an enemy that is you. Number two is the spiritual attack that is publicly enforced. They came for me. Psalm talk about, not this particular scripture, it talks about 1,000 fell at one side and another came that many are they that come against my soul. Many are they who saying there's no help for him. Like there are enemies that came for me. And there are times that there is an enemy or attack that is coming for you. And it is a real thing. And I want you to understand that. Sometimes it is not the attack you brought on yourself. Sometimes an attack you didn't know was coming. Now, here's the one that's a little closer to home. There are attacks that are privately endorsed. They are the deceitful kiss that came from someone close. Like the only way they were able to attack you is because they were close enough to reach you. And there are some people who are not your friends. They are only coming to get close to you so that they can attack you. But we find this, what's interesting to me is that Jesus teaches us how he handles those who are close to him. Because we find out that Jesus had 12 disciples, and one of them we find out was a betrayer. But we do understand that Jesus recruited him. So Jesus, who knows all things and who is the Son of his Father, also we understand that they are God in three persons, blessed Trinity. But we do understand that here it is that Jesus recruited him knowing what he was capable of doing, knowing what he had inside of him. But Jesus, this is what's important for us to understand this, that Jesus did not label Judas as a hater. He called him his friend. Come on here. Isn't that opposite of how we would treat people that betray us? We would post about it, tweet about it, X about it, whatever. Screenshots, put threads in it, whatever, to tell people my haters. In spite of my haters. We quote the scripture, and he blesses me in the presence of my enemies. Jesus didn't look at him as an enemy. He looked at him as an assignment. Christ did not label him as a hater, but as a test. In John, the 13th chapter, verse 27, we find in the scripture, it says, then after he had taken the morsel, as we just got through this Last Supper, it says, Satan entered into him. This is what I want you to understand. Judas didn't start that way. He became that way. Which is to say, all of us, if not careful, have an entrance point that the enemy can come in if we don't block it. Come on. All of us have an entrance point. Okay, everybody say that. I got an entrance point. While you're thinking about somebody who's not here right now, all of us have an entrance point that if we're not careful, the enemy can enter in and we can become. Come on, Romans 7. He says, when I would do good, evil is always present. So then I find a law warning my members that the good that I would do, I don't wind up doing. But the evil that I don't plan to do, I always wind up doing, because there are dual natures in all of us. There is the saved you, there's the sanctified you, there's the regal you, and there is the ratchet you. There's Shandi Buokoshaya, there's that one, and there's I wish you would. I'll say something to make you remember that I hadn't always been in here. Come on. There's two things that are, come on, it's two things that are going on at the same time. So lest you judge Judas, have you looked at you in the mirror lately? To be able to say, I'll never betray Jesus. I'll never betray my call. I'll never betray the anointing. I'll never step back. And how many times have we in the last 30 days? Stepping back from the call, stepping back from the assignment, whatever it is. And here it is in verse 27. It says, Satan entered him. Jesus said to him, this is what I love. Jesus said, what you are going to do, do it quickly. He didn't say hesitate. He didn't say think about it again. He didn't say, are you sure you want to go down that path? He didn't debate with him. He didn't say, let's go process this thing. Let's go think. Let's see how you really feel about it. Let's get in touch with you. What's going on with your emotions? How are you feeling? Let's put some verbiage to it. Let's put some words to it. Let's check on the board and see where you are on the scale. He said, whatever you're going to do it quickly. Which is to say, I now recognize that I no longer have you. Before Satan entered you, I had you. But now he's entered you, I no longer have you. So I don't debate with the devil. Come on. I don't have conversations and counseling sessions with people who have readily allowed the enemy to take control of them. So I'm telling you, since he's got you, don't do what he told you to do. Before he entered you, you were doing what I told you to do. But now that you have surrendered to another Lord, do what he tells you to do. Because I am no longer your Lord. There are times in your life where you have to recognize when your friend is no longer your friend. That didn't help. 28 says, now no one at the table knew why he had said this. Let me tell you something. Everybody won't see what you see. Everybody will not have the level of discernment that you have, which means all revelations that he gives you are not always for the table. Because it said everybody at the table didn't notice it. Because there are some things God will reveal only to you, for you to know it, to protect you. It's not their attack, it's yours. Come on, Nia. It's not their attack, it's yours. And you're sitting there having table discussion, trying to tell everybody about an attack that's not even theirs. So they don't even care. That's why they don't notice it. They're not concerned about it. That's why they're not noticing it. But it's your attack. Someone tell somebody it's my attack. Verse 29 says, some thought that because Judas had the money bag, because they were, he kept the money. Jesus trusted him so much that he made him an accountant over his ministry. Do you understand how much security Jesus had in himself? To say, I'm going to let you handle the books. When's the last time you gave somebody your access code to your savings account? You're like, hey, the routing number is, the account number is. You just go ahead and have at it. That's the equivalency of what Jesus said. He said, just go ahead and take the money, do what you want with it. Jesus is telling them about what you need for the feast. That's why they thought that because Jesus was talking about the feast and all that type of stuff and about the poor. Verse 30 says, so after receiving the morsel of bread, he immediately went out, and it was night. No one paid any attention to it other than Jesus. We go even deeper. Can I go deeper? We talk so much about Moses, but we villainize Pharaoh as if Pharaoh was not used by God like Moses was. Huh? But he held the people captive. Could a captor also be used by God? All right. Exodus 7 chapter verse 2 through 4 says this. He says, so you shall speak all that I command you. That's what he tells Moses. You're going to speak all I command you, and your brother Aaron shall tell Pharaoh to let the people of Israel go out of the land. Verse 3 says, but I will harden Pharaoh's heart. And though I multiply my signs and wonders in the lands of Egypt, Pharaoh will not listen to you. Then I will lay my hand on Egypt and bring my host, my people, to children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by great acts of judgment. Did you see verse 3? God says, I will harden Pharaoh's heart. Not Pharaoh's heart will be hardened on his own. I will harden it, but in spite of his heart being hardened, you're still going to see signs and wonders. I want to say this real quick for the people in the back, Dwayne. God does not have to remove your opposition to bless you. A lot of people can say, can you just remove it? God said, I don't have to remove your enemy. I don't have to remove any of that. I don't have to remove opposition. I don't have to get him out of office to bless you. I will harden Pharaoh's heart, meaning I'm going to make it difficult just so that you will learn how to trust me. I'm going to make it difficult. I'm going to make the economy very hard and very tight because Pharaoh was over the economy. He was over the land. He was over the jurisdiction of the land. He was the governor, president, whatever. He said, I'm going to shut it all down. I'm going to shut down every type of funding you can think about. I'm going to make it difficult, but you're still going to see my signs. You're still going to see my wonders. I'm still going to be with you. No matter how difficult it gets, I'm still going to be God, and I'm going to use all of it. I don't have to cause him to be assassinated to bless you. He can stay in office and resist. But as long as he resists, the more miracles I'll have. As long as he resists, the more I'm setting up your deliverance. I'm setting up your exodus. I'm setting up your great things. I'm setting up your miracle. I'm setting up your breakthrough. Someone look at somebody say, it's a setup. It's a setup. While you're sitting there looking, and I'm wondering what the White House is doing. I ain't wondering what the White House is doing. I'm wondering what God's house is doing. Because as long as he's on the throne, I don't care what they do, God will still take care of his own. Exodus the 9th chapter verse 16 says this, but for this purpose I have raised you up, to show you my power, so that my name may be proclaimed in all the earth. There are some elevations you would never have without persecution. You would know yourself had there not been a Pharaoh. You wouldn't even know how powerful you are had you not got laid off. You wouldn't know how wonderful you are had that joker not revealed himself to be a frenemy and not a friend. You would not realize how anointed you are until you got into that situation where you had to preach without a mic. You had to sing without a song. You had to worship without a band. You had to do it. You realized that you were more powerful than you could ever imagine. It was in the presence of opposition. For those of us who are country and those of us who grew up and we didn't have silver spoons in our mouth, we realize how to make ends meet without anything. You know how to share stuff. When the lights got cut out and the utilities got shut off, you know how to turn on the candles and tell your children, turn out the lights. You know how to make it and do whatever you had to do. And they thought that you were having fun, but you realized that you couldn't pay the bill. You would have not learned how creative you could be had you not had things shut down in your life. For this purpose, someone say this is the purpose. Stop waiting for better times and make the times better. Say it again. Stop waiting for better and make it better. Go on a date in the park and have a good time. You can't go to Bali, you can't go to Dubai. Bring Dubai to the park. Get a headscarf and covering. Walk around and look like those who are your neighbors. Because every test only reveals what you were supposed to have learned. If you are being tested right now, you are only being tested because you were supposed to have learned something before the test was revealed. If you have not been tested right now, then you are the teacher. But if you are being tested right now, there's something that you were supposed to learn, unless it's a pop-up quiz. And all of us who've ever had pop-up quizzes, there's never an announcement on the pop-up. But it is to see, did you pay attention in the last class? I'm trying to say, church, you can't come to church this much and fail so often. You can't sing that many songs and you still can't get yourself out of depression yet. Why would he keep testing you if he didn't believe he's taught you something? You are not being tested because God hates you. He's testing you because he loves you to let you know how much you already know. Is this helping? The test is not to break you. It's to reveal you. Whatever test you're in right now, anybody tested in this room right now? Because I asked the Lord, Bonnie, I asked him, Tyrone, I said, Lord, give me a shout message when I come back. I've been gone for a month. He said, no, man, these people have been tested. They don't need no shout. They need an open book exam. Because many of you all going from month to month, fighting the same thing and never winning. And the enemy is studying you enough to know that you're going to cry, but you're not going to fight. So Paul, that was my introduction. So Paul writes this, and he opens up. Verse 1, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. Then it says, verse 2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is the part here. So that you might be able to discern or prove what is that good and perfect will for you. You can't discern God's perfect will for you if you're fighting you. That's why I said in verse 1, I'm begging you, present yourself. I'm begging you, present yourself. Because as you present yourself, I'll do the rest. But as long as you're withholding yourself from me, I can't have you. But I'm asking you in verse 1, before I get to verse 12, I'm saying the first thing you need to do is present yourself as a living sacrifice. And this is the hard part, special, okay? It's that the living sacrifice is living. Sorry, y'all missed that. Sorry, let me slow down. That was too fast. The hard part is that the sacrifice is alive. That was too slow, Lauren. Lauren, I'm too fast. I'm so sorry. I've been off. I've been reading a lot more than y'all have. So the sacrifice is alive. You have to realize in the Old Testament, sacrifices were only offered after they had died. Priests took an animal and killed it, then offered it. Dead things don't fight. Dead things don't argue. Dead things don't go back and forth. Dead things don't ask questions. Dead things don't debate. But us living sacrifices, why? What about? Why can't I? Why? How long? How long is a wait? What am I supposed to do now? Why won't you give me all the things? Why won't you give me all the details? What about August? What about September? And God said, you are a living sacrifice. Living means all you're supposed to do is stay alive long enough for me to kill your desire. For me to kill your pattern and your ways. You're going to live in something, but I want you to live your life for me, but I do want you to die to you. The living sacrifice, can I break this down a little bit more? That's the power of altar calls. You lively, you are living, you are walking, you are breathing, and you willingly come up to the altar. But the bad thing is you can willingly come up to the altar and willingly still go back bound. Dead sacrifices had no choice because they were dead. You always have a choice. You can come here, lay it down, and leave here and pick it back up. But when you surrender your life to God, surrender your heart to God, something in you got to die. Something has to die. You can't be 12 years a first-year Christian. All right. 12:12, we're almost out of here. It says, he goes on with these different types of things because I want you to pass the test. Tell somebody I got to pass the test. Each of these exercises in 12:12 teaches us how to pass the test. He starts out and he says here, I want you to rejoice in hope. Someone say rejoice in hope. This is important because I thought about it. I said, why would it say rejoice in hope? It's basically saying, if your hope is set in the right place, it'll help you stay in place when hard times come. If your hope is in the right place, like if you're hoping that the day gets better, it's in the wrong place. But if you're hoping in the one who controls the day, you see the difference. My hope is not in Monday. My hope is in the author and the finisher of my faith. So regardless of what Monday does, we used to sing a song, maybe this was wrong with some of us today, we don't even sing these songs anymore. I don't know about tomorrow, but I do know who holds my hand. Like, I don't know about it, and I'm okay with that, but for some of us, you are so messed up because you gotta know. You got to have play by play by play, and your lack of knowing got you all over the place. So you can't trust God because you want to know. God says you ain't going to know everything. All I need you to do is know me. And when it's time for you to know it, I'll share it with you. Rejoice in hope. The Apostle Paul doesn't qualify verse 12 of chapter 12. He's not basically just talking about those of us who are, let me not get there. Y'all might run out of church. Let me back up. Y'all ain't ready for that just yet. Hold on. They ain't ready yet. Your response, hear this. You ready for this one, though? Your response to attacks is not about the attacker's identity, but about the defender's identity in Christ. That's good. Your response is not based on your attacker. It's based on you. Because we say stuff like, well, if they didn't, I wouldn't have. Regardless of if they did or they didn't, you still control what you do. Oh, they made me. No one can make you do anything. No one has that much power over you. So he says, rejoice in hope. Why rejoice when I've been betrayed? Because my hope is in God's faithfulness and not human behavior. Did you hear me? My hope is in God's justice, whether I'm able to retaliate or not. Jesus, this is difficult. My hope is in God's justice, not in whether I can retaliate or not. Blessing those who curse you isn't about emotional denial. It's defiance against letting their actions define your heart. I'm sorry. I've been with God just a little bit, just trying to tell y'all some things. Say it one more time. Can I say it one more time? Because it's not in your notes. I want y'all to get it. Don't grab it. Don't miss it. Blessing those who curse you isn't about emotional denial. It's defiance against letting their actions define your heart. Will you tell someone they cannot define my heart? I will not let them make me bitter again. I will not let them allow me to lose another night of sleep. I will not let them make me go off the edge again. They cannot define my heart. All right, move on. I got to move on. I don't have much time. Number 2. Is this helping? I hope this is. Number 2, be patient in tribulation. Now, when I was growing up, we used to talk about trials and tribulations. Come on, Brother Barry. You know that. You King James saved. Trials and tribulations. Tribulations, we said it, and half of us didn't know what tribulations were. Here, this tribulation is talk about trying times, basically. That's what it is. But it says be patient. Be patient means having endurance that outlasts the storm. Say it again. Be patient enough to realize that every cloud runs out of rain. Be patient enough to know that storms don't last forever. Come on, I want you to understand that. Some of you, maybe not all of you, but some of you need to update your testimony because your testimony starts and ends with the storm. That's not a testimony. If I was watching the movie The Help, you need a group T for that. Because some of you can find the struggle in everything. You go outside right now, it's a nice day, but it's a little brisk. The sun is shining, but the clouds are coming. Like you just got something for everything. The music was good, couldn't hear the band. I mean, you can find a struggle in everything. And because you find a struggle in everything, you stay there longer than you needed to stay. When your story is always about struggle and hardship and sunken places and things that are always difficult, you never see triumph because all you see is trials. Even the song we used to sing, Brandon, he wasn't even saved back then. He wasn't young then. He wasn't even born. You know, we used to say, trouble in my way. I have to cry sometime. So much trouble. I have to cry sometime. I lay awake at night, but that's all right. They were saying, I know that Jesus, after a while. See, it started out with trouble in my way, but I stayed awake at night, but that's all right because I know that Jesus will fix it after a while. Your story has to end with a but. Tell somebody, God's got a big old but. You've got to let your story, welcome back. Let your story end with God's blood. That's good to me. Woo! Do not add that to my bloopers. Do not. But this is the part. Joseph's brother, I got 8 minutes. Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery. They sold him, meaning they willingly participated in going against their brother. I don't have time to unpack all that type of stuff. But later on, the same Joseph who was sold into slavery had to be the same Joseph who helped the people who sold him into slavery. Say it again. This is why I'm trying to teach you all this. You have to be careful in who you cut off. Because you cut them off because they hurt you. And I understand that. But sometimes the one you cut off might be the one who comes back who needs you. It's quiet today. Because the response is never based on them. It's based on what God was doing in you. Have you ever seen your ex and it didn't faze you? Come on here. Have you ever looked at them and said, they look bad? Now, what was I drinking that night again? I mean, have you ever, seriously. But it has to be at some point that something shifts in you because they're going to be who they're going to be. So Joseph, when Joseph had an opportunity to retaliate, Sydney, he didn't. Genesis, the 50th chapter, verse 20 says, as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. Now, I might be wrong, Tyrone. Please correct me if I'm right. You can grab this microphone. I promise you they'll give you a check for it. Listen, we've been quoting it wrong for a long time. We've been saying, you meant it for evil, but God turned it for good. That's not what it says. You meant it for evil. God always saw the good beyond the evil. God always uses everything for good. You mean it wrong, but God always has my best interest in heart. God is always looking out for me. God is always caring for me. It doesn't matter what you do to me. God always takes care of me. Someone laying your hands on yourself. Say, he always cares of me. I don't care if they do downsizes and layoffs everywhere. God will always take care of you. They might be trying to do budget cuts. God will never cut your budget. God will always take care of you. And that takes maturity to be able to say, I know what you meant, but I know my God. I know what you intended, but I know my God. I've been with God much longer than I've been with you. Hiya. I got to get out of that. The last thing is, I'm through. It says, be constant in prayer. Prayer is the foundation of all of it. You can't rejoice without prayer, and you can't be patient without prayer. Prayer is the bottom. Prayer is the foundation on which everything. There's no way you can treat your enemies good without a life of prayer. Prayer does more changing you than it changes them. They might not ever change, but when I talk to God, he does change me. Someone say pray. And Corrine, this is for you. Prayer isn't a mood, it's a lifeline. I don't have to be in the mood to pray. I got to pray. It's my lifeline. I would be lost without prayer. I would be crazy without prayer. I would go off without prayer. I would give up without prayer. I would throw hands without prayer. Someone say, I got to pray. It's my lifeline. It's my supernatural response to the kryptonite that's trying to kill me. For every spiritual wickedness in high place, for everything that is coming against me, prayer is my superpower. It's not my singing. It's not my preaching. It's my prayer life. If I preach with no prayer, I'm doing a motivational speech. But when I pray, demons start to tremble. When I pray, cancer starts to dry up. When I pray, suicide's got to get out the room because this message has got to be drenched in prayer. Tell somebody, prayer's my lifeline. Now, this is the part that all of y'all might sit down on chance, but here's this. If you can't pray for your enemy, you've handed them power over your spiritual growth. If you can't pray for your enemy, you have given them power over your own growth. And ain't nobody worth taking over your growth. Nobody is worth you handing over your spiritual gifts for. Saying, I'm not even going to serve no more. I'm not going to preach no more. I'm not going to sing no more. Because you let somebody cloud your mind and give them power over your own spiritual growth. Somebody say that devil is a liar. Nobody should have that much power over you. Proverbs 4:16 says this, for they cannot sleep unless they have done wrong. They are robbed of sleep unless they have made someone stumble. I want you to understand this. Some people are just evil because it's all they know to be. Did you see that? They can't even sleep until they cause someone to stumble. There are some people who their only assignment is to make you miserable. They don't know how to do nothing else but to be miserable. And they want to make you miserable. But here are the reasons that God allows tests in your life, and I'm through. Number one, to refine your discernment. 2, to expose hidden alliances. And 3, to redirect us toward divine assignments. Say it again. He wants to refine your discernment, expose hidden alliances, and redirect us towards divine assignments. This is the last thing. Every time you choose to do the opposite, I'm through, Brandon. Every time you decide to do the opposite of what you like to do, you reflect God's heart. Luke 23:34 says, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. Every time you choose the opposite of what you want to do, you're reflecting God's heart. And if there's anybody in this room right now who's ready to reflect God's heart, that's why you're being tested. I think it was Sarah Jakes Roberts, and I wasn't at the Women of Our conference, but I saw a clip. It says, you signed up for this fight when you said yes to God. You said yes. And when you say yes, the devil said, oh, I'm coming now. So you can either be like the person you have been and always retreat, or you can re-up. You can say, this season, I'm not retreating. I'm going to learn what I need to do because obviously this enemy has been studying my patterns. So if my pattern is quitting, how about I endure this time? If my pattern is cussing, how about I pray this time? If my pattern is worry, how about I worship this time? How about I switch up my pattern so the enemy can't find which way to attack me? Because he's used to me giving up, but this season I refuse to. I refuse to have 2025 in 2026. I got a few more months to figure this thing out because a new month, a new year is coming. And I refuse to repeat what I've been repeating in 2025, what I did in 2024, what I did in 2023, and take that into 2026. I got to kill this thing. Tired of the same repeat cycle, everything over and over again. I can't do this. If that message bless you, let's give God praise and glory.